All the separation in the world is due to self-centered or selfishness. And all of the uniting in the world is due to an unselfish, cooperative spirit. You could think of marriage and divorce, or getting hired and getting fired, or when people come together and unionize, or when a country demands change from its leaders. When you have your selfish interest as the primary interest, as what drives you or what motivates you to act, then you only pursue things for yourself and you're not looking out for the interests of others. When that happens, it repulses other people, it repels them. When you have a selfish motive, when you want something from everyone, but you don't want to give anything, you don't want to share, you don't want to consider the interests of others. When you build a company together with another person or with investors, you're looking out for their interests as well. The whole idea is that you come together, you cooperate to create a bigger company than you could create on your own, and to have more income for everyone. Now, if that doesn't work out, what do you get? You get investors selling their shares, you get people leaving a partnership, breaking up a company. One person has to buy out the other, or they have to sell the company and split the proceeds of the sale. But the bottom line is that when you want to create something bigger, you have to cooperate with others. When you want to create a family, you have to cooperate with another person. You need a partner. Yes, of course, you could do it on your own, but generally speaking, each partner contributes certain uh, innate talents, certain things that they're good at that the other partner is not good at. So it lends a good structure for a larger endeavor, for a larger family. And in society, we could think of this as when we each look out for our own interests, we don't come together to fight for the interests of everyone. So if you're looking out for your ability to become a billionaire, you won't concern yourself with taxing the current billionaires in a way that enables everyone to become wealthier. Right now, billionaires barely pay any tax, and that is robbing the treasury and is bidding up prices on assets like houses and cars, airplanes, boats, stocks, bonds. All these things are bid up by people who have extra money left over at the end of the year because they weren't taxed enough. So the more or the less that they're taxed, the more they build up wealth, the more they have to reinvest that wealth in other assets, and the less the ordinary person is able to afford those assets that they need to live. So if we come together as a society, we can unite behind this idea that to look out for everyone's interests, we need more tax dollars to come from the ultra wealthy, the mega billionaires, so that everyone can live a more prosperous life, so that the lowly person can raise themselves up, so that they have someone helping them up out of poverty, and so at each level there's assistance, there's some kind of support for improving the prosperity of that person at that level. But when we only look out for or because we're only looking out for our self-centered interests, each one of us is only looking out for our personal interest at becoming wealthier. So we detest this idea that wealthy people should be taxed, because we want to get to that level ourselves. And so, not realizing that it would benefit us if the wealthy were taxed more, we innocently identify with the wealthy, even though the majority of people are not wealthy. And that is increasing the gap between the ultra wealthy and the poor, so the haves and the have nots. So it tells you something about the self centeredness of the individuals in the society when they can't even come together to benefit the majority, when they identify with the minority of people who've already reached mega wealth. And it's sad, but we reap the benefit or we reap the results of our self centered natures, unfortunately. And if we can put aside that self centered interest in reaching billionaire status ourselves, we can unite with others who also want to reach that billionaire status by helping tax those who've already reached that status enough to make it more likely for us to reach the status of billionaire. So it's all about putting aside our self-centered interests to seek the benefit of the majority of everyone. And the truth is, billionaires will be benefited from higher taxes as well. They'll benefit from a society that's less stressed out, that's less poor, that's more accommodating to them, that doesn't hate them as much, that doesn't despise those who, perhaps through no fault of their own, have accumulated wealth. Maybe they were born into it. It doesn't matter. In some way, they reach that status. So there's no reason to hate them, but it would benefit the billionaire to have a more accommodating society. They wouldn't have to build these bunkers and buy islands to keep themselves safe from the possibility of an uprising or rebellion or some kind of revolution. So it's up to all of us to put aside our self centered interests and start fighting for the communal interest, for everyone's interest.